Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with the host and other viewers in real time, and remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community guidelines. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is the Atheist Brunch. Let's see who's coming on. What W Langfor, ANNGGGL, JW, Sean's Bunker. What's up, Sean's Bunker? Are you hunkered down in the bunker? Julie's Anderlin, guitar related, comic genius. What's up? Good morning, Edged Viking. What's up, my brother? Stardog BKH. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. Move on to the back of the train and let your fellow passengers come on board. Hello, hope I can comment. Non-crazy crazy cat lady. It looks like you can comment. Daniel, Nana in Virginia. What's up, my baby? Thanks for being here. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's a beautiful day in September. Melissa Baldwin, Dog Mom Molly. Do you like dogs, Molly? Benterly, what's up? User a lot of numbers. Thanks for joining. User other lot of numbers. Southern Sloan, Brooke Chamarro, Margie Beverly, user a lot of numbers. Scott Moorhead, Adam Nimoy. Are you related to Spock? Lineman 611, Country Bum, Michael 1, Rez Rezai. Hi, yo boy, Herrick said. Hello from West Virginia. What's up in West Virginia? I love bluegrass. Are you delighted you caught the train this morning? That's right. The train waits for everybody to get on board before we go. Caleb, Dude Pelon, Jeremy Helm, just a guy. Biddy Buddha, my girl. What's up? D86, Edge Freak, Lolly 54. Was not sure if you could. Yeah, I know. You're getting banned every week, man. You're so controversial. That's not crazy cat lady. Follow her if you haven't followed her. She does something to get banned all the damn time. So that can only mean that she's making good content. Hello from New Mexico, says Ben somebody. What's up, man? Let me get your name right. Ben Shania and Cute. All right. What's up? Foamers forever. Yeah, I just learned about the foamer thing. I didn't know that was a thing. What's up? The Bandit. Hi from Public Bus in Canopolis, North Carolina. What's up in North Carolina? Nini of 10. Ahmed, somebody. Switched, somebody. Danny G. Not grounded. You got booted from a Christian live. Yeah, I can believe that. I mean, you know, they don't. We boot people who troll us. So I guess if you said something that you know offends their sensibilities, they're gonna boot you. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for sharing, Brooke Tomorrow. Appreciate it. I do feel like I'm being shadow banned still. And thanks for joining everybody. B. Frickin, Scott Friedenberg, Michael Smith, all aboard! We do this every Sunday at 10:30 in the Central Zone. This is 11:30 on the East Coast. And we appreciate all of you so much. I love you. Love you for being here. You make it possible for me to do what I do, which is rant about religion for 2 fucking hours and answer questions. So yeah, if you have, I mean, that turns them off, right, Nana? If you ask questions on a Christian live that they can't answer, they're gonna be like, let's just get rid of them, you know. And we welcome questions. I appreciate it when you know, when religious people come on and ask honest questions and they're looking for answers. I really don't mind that. But as you all know, there are certain rules on the train: no spitting, no loud radios, and no preaching on the train. You get the whistle and you get kicked off by my great moderators if they see you. What's up, Keisha? Hi, Sin-Free Atheist. What's up, man? Let's rant. Yeah, let's rant. If you got something for me to rant about, put it up there. You know I can go if I do see it. Gigs Reaper, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. I am on YouTube. If I missed you because I'm not paying attention, it's because there's so much more action on the TikTok that I'm paying attention to the questions as they go by. Do I feel there is any value to religion? Yeah, I mean, you know, certain people, like I say, certain people turn to religion and it gets them off the gutter. It gets them out of the street doing heroin. And you know, if you're an adult and you've come to that conclusion and it's helped you lead a better, more loving life than the shitty situation you were in where you were going to die or where you were murdering and robbing people for your drug habit. I mean, what can I say? You know what I mean? You know, um, it's it's a better option than some things for some people. I think overall it's a net negative. That's our bit here. It's been shown and it's being shown every day to be a net negative on society. What's up, progressive person from PA? So you're the guy. Pennsylvania, full of fucking rednecks, isn't it? Full of friggin' Trumpy rifle toting hicks, man. And my people are from Altoona. I love Pennsylvania's gorgeous. Western Pennsylvania's gorgeous. Philadelphia, great town. Um, but yeah, Pennsylvania scares me. One of those states where you can't really be an atheist and run for office, according to the legislature. They have a weird in between law there. Hey, queer as fuck, what's up? Hope you're well too, my friend. Um, so nice seeing you. Where you been, my man? I'm here. You know what I mean? We're surviving. We're here every Wednesday and Sunday, and I get kicked off the lives occasionally, but the last few times I've been kicked off the live, I've gotten right back on. We got kicked off the other night for like 7 minutes, and we got put back on. So yeah, Indiana's bogus too, dog mom Molly. I hate Indiana, man. Indiana, the state that keeps the South in the North. That's the way I refer to Indiana. Um, it's too bad because I say that I hate it, but there are lots of lovely people from Indiana. It's just too bad that they live in such a ugly red state. So sadly, many of those people become so obsessed with the religion they turn against people like them. Yeah, it's true. You know what I mean? You're talking about people who've taken themselves out of addiction or whatever. Yeah, they do. They replace it, right? It becomes a replacement drug. Um, what's my opinion on Catholic schools? You know what? Catholic schools aren't that bad. Most of the parochial schools here in this town are probably less religious than the damn public schools. I've had, pitched battles with the public schools in Kenosha over overt religiosity among their ranks. The teachers and the administration there, they seem to excuse routinely. Sorry, I'm adjusting some shit here. They seem to excuse routinely the insertion of rank Christianity into their curriculum. And when Christian nationalist teachers try to do that, they often get away with it. And I find that Catholic schools aren't really that obsessed. I think you might have a class that's on religion, but in the end, there's nothing wrong with a religion class. I'm all in favor of learning about world religion. It's when you try to enforce it on the government that it really gets ugly. So, Catholic parochial schools in a town, certainly not as bad as like the Lutheran school where they lie to your kids about the nature of the universe and the age of the earth and try to teach young earth creationism and have people pay. Imagine paying to have your kids lied to. What the fuck is wrong with people? What's up, Alabama? Scott Norris. The funniest shit I've seen in Indiana is the Dan Quayle Vice Presidential Library. There's like 3 books in it, a couple of like Spot loves Dick and Spot, and remember the Spot books where it's Dick and Jane, right? Dick and Jane books where it's Dan Quayle. Can he even fucking read, man? What a putz. South Carolina show no love for atheists. Yeah, South Carolina's backwards as fuck, man. Southern Illinois starts at Grundy County. I don't know. It might start in Will County, my friend. As soon as you get outside of Chicago to the south. So I-80 to me is the line, right? If you're south of I-80, whoo boy, it just becomes the south. Person, places, things. God is what? My grandfather was head supervisor for GM&O Railroad. Nice, man, nice. My connection to the railroad is only through my descendancy. My great grandfather and great grandfather and grandfather all worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad there in Altoona, as I mentioned. Where's Wally? Who's Wally? Are you haven't seen me in a while? Wally, yeah. Where has Wally been? Where's Waldo? Where you been, man? Thanks for being here, Waldo. O2. Learning about religion is very enlightening, but joining religion becomes yeah, learning about religion is fascinating. It's really interesting. I love the culture and the anthropology of religious thought. That's neat. Learning about native myths and crap like that. Sadly, we lose those. There's less native religions to learn about because the big religions go around stomping out the little ones. The great tolerant Christians in the world use colonialism to stamp out native cultures and destroy beautiful native mythologies, and then we lose them, and then you can't learn about them. So, well, what the fuck, man? That's not tolerance. That's intolerance. Hello, Wonder Woman 66. Who doesn't love Wonder Woman? Gal Gadot. Ooh, man, right up there at the top of the list for me these days. Hi from Nebraska. What's up in Nebraska? Jake Hanshaw, 41. Another. You're a Methodist. That's cool. I grew up with Methodists on the East Coast, and Methodists were, mainline Protestant denominations that weren't terribly literal. They weren't terribly fundamental. And they were all, Methodists, Congregationalists, First Baptists from the North. All those things were All those denominations were very very liberal in the 70s, and they didn't preach hellfire and brimstone and all that shit. And it was easy. I don't know. Maybe the Methodists are different where you are, but then they're pretty decent comparatively, I have to say. Um, I do live south of I-80 in Will County, and sadly, you're right. Yeah, do you, man? Are you in Illinois, Center for Atheists? We may have talked about that. Yeah, no, I know. I've been around this part of the world for a long time, and it's like, wow, yeah. It's like, can you like Elvis and James Brown? Why not? James Brown. James Brown was the man. He had some issues, I think, and it slapped his wife around a little bit or something, didn't he? But James Brown changed music. He's one of the top 4 or 5 influencers in all of music, as far as anybody should be concerned. When I see ice heads, I say there's an Icelandic Methodist. I don't know what ice heads mean. Why don't you get off of this and work on your ceiling? Yeah, how about it? It's not my ceiling. I just rent here. You know what I mean? I'm not putting in any work on this fucking shithole that I rent. Huge fan. Thanks, Teacher Mike. Thanks for the videos. Oh, you're in Braidwood. I was just down yesterday, down on the south side. I was in Alsip. Alsip. When you're in a town named Alsip, you know you're in Chicagoland, man. Nowhere else in the world has names like Alsip and Stickney. uh, I'd much rather be in Charlotte over South Carolina, but jump border cheaper and less traffic. Um, yeah, I dig it. Yeah, Charlotte's right. People who don't know geography, Charlotte, right on the border of South Carolina. South Carolina, home to the best breakfast place I've ever been in, called the Famous Toastery. Right, it's in Charlotte. It's in the suburbs of Charlotte, right there, in South Carolina. And they had biscuits and gravy that you just I blew a load right in my pants. It was like eating clouds. The biscuits were so fresh and the gravy was so homemade. It was fucking fantastic. Casey, Illinois, little town of big things. What's going on big in Casey? That's Regina Marlowe, 1975. Uh, you live in Greenville? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Charlotte's, I mean, it's a big city, so you got some liberal stuff going on there. What do you believe in? I believe in the greater good of humanity, and I believe that sooner or later we'll get rid of religious idiocy. What's your opinion on Satanists? I love the Satanists. The people who are theistic Satanists are just as goofy as other religions, but the church, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple, they're on the right track. Improve yourself, improve your mind, enjoy your body, enjoy your life, enjoy this world, help out your fellow human beings. It's humanistic atheism, man. What can you do? And what the Satanic Temple is doing now, doing more to defend human rights against the onslaught in Texas than anybody. Opinion of Barack? I like Barack Obama. I think he's a smart guy. I don't know if anybody else could have done any better with the shit show that he was handed when he took it over. But like every politician, he's half full of shit too. So I'm not deluded about it. But I like Barack. I'd smoke a joint with Barack. What's your opinion on Christianity from a Christian? Christianity is just an embarrassing, undefendable faith system. It's based on earlier myths. It's a net negative on society. It's the mythological arc that you need to believe in to be a Christian is indefensibly illogical. It's ridiculous. There's no way that a logical mind can get their head around a God who created sinful people and then demanded that they jump through these fucking hoops to get over the sin that he made them with. It's not even, honestly, it's just silliness. I grew up a Christian. I was a Christian. I drank the Kool-Aid. I bought it for a while. I figured Jesus died and resurrected and died for my sins. And then you look at it and you're like, what? God came down to earth, shagged a Jewish teenager, gave birth to himself, then sacrificed himself so that we could all have a worthy sacrifice to get over the sins that he made us with. It's a stupidity on wheels. What are my thoughts on Jesus? Cool cat, man. I'd party with Jesus, man. Love a socialist. Love a guy in sandals. Uh, uh, uh. Thanks for the follow, Gareth Throne, Garth. Oh, Garth Ronald. Garth Ronald Massey. What do you guys think of the name Garth? Right? You don't hear it a lot. You hear it enough to be like everybody knows it. Of course, I support LGBTIAQBFXYZ. Of course, I have a million gay friends, and I love them all. They're great people. Why do you care what people believe? Because their beliefs lead them to do horrible, awful things to the rest of us. I don't really care what personal people believe, but the problem is that their beliefs lead them to vote certain ways, and then all of a sudden here we are living in a world where women can't get access to modern healthcare. um, based on a book from a billion fucking years ago. It's an embarrassment. Why do I care? Um, God did not create sinful people. Oh, okay. So he didn't create us. Guess we agree on that. Wow. Because there are self-fulfilling prophecies. Religion is the method to control the masses. Yeah, that's what religion has become. I think early religion was a little bit more pure than that, but yeah, for sure. Thanks for all the questions. I know I'm missing a lot of them. I don't mean to. And thanks for blocking the trolls. Bye. If you your philosophy degree turned you atheist, yeah, there's a reason why religion is in the philosophy department in college, right, and not the science department, right? You know. But yeah. I can't tell you how many inaccurate things just came out of your mouth. Okay, Dusty Joe. Bye. How was your favorite president Biden? He's not my favorite president, you know. I think he's probably like taking the pill so he can stay awake today. I feel sorry for you when Jesus comes when Jesus comes again, and you are left to deal with with the worst this world ever see. We're dealing with the worst this world ever sees. It's called religious fundamentalism. People like you who would try to pretend that a mythological character is going to come and punish half of us for for eternity. Thanks for the thought, though. Ryan Rocks, thanks for the rose, man. It's funny how people uh, 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 remember the Reason rally. Yeah, yeah, I was at the second Reason rally. I worked at it. I was on stage with all of those great people. It's funny how people like this guy says he was Christian but never had a relationship with God. I did have a relationship with God, and then, you know what? I realized sooner or later that it was all in my head, and there was no reciprocity there. Nobody's prayers get answered. Nobody has any universal justice. Babies die from cancer. Genocide happens in the name of the God that you think exists. It's just it's an embarrassment. Uh, Back in 10 minutes. All right, man. Make me a sandwich too. It is the Atheist Brunch, and I got some Cheerios here today. Christian acting not so nice in here. Your God wouldn't be too pleased. Yeah. Do I have a favorite president? I don't know. In my lifetime, you know, I'd have to give it to Clinton. Balance the budget, had some dirty sex in the White House. Um, Thanks. Bye, Liz. Uh, Yeah, it's 2021. Need to move away from superstition. That's pretty much where it's at. Thanks, Savage Rabbit. You like this the rabbit from Holy Grail? Killer rabbit that attacks people. It's like that White Zombie song. It's in your head. I don't know White Zombie, the metal band, punk band. Science over. Yeah, Jimmy Carter was pretty cool. I was a little kid. Jimmy Carter was cool, but you know he did. He wasn't. You can't see. He was an actual Christian. He was a guy who acted and practiced what he preached. And you can't have a guy like that be the president of a country. I've said this before, as Shakespeare knew in the themes in Henry IV and Henry V, where too honest of a man is not fit to hold office of a powerful country. You need somebody who will push the button when they have to. You need somebody who won't turn the other cheek when your country's under attack. You need somebody to do the dirty things that need to be done in order to protect a country. And a Christian can't make war. You know what I mean? So anybody who makes war, they can say they're a Christian, they're not. Uh, yeah, bring forth the holy hand grenade. Give me the best steam engine noise. I don't know. All I got's the whistle, buddy. That's all I got for you. All aboard! I like using my mouth for sound effects. Reagan was too religious too. Yeah, you know what? He was a sap. He was indoctrinated. I read an article he wrote about how he really admired how Polynesians were so open with their sexuality, and he was racked with Christian guilt even when he had sex with his wife. He wrote about this openly, and this is what Christianity does. This is what religion does to you. It makes people guilty over things that they know they shouldn't be guilty about. But it indoctrinated into their souls, and I use that term metaphorically, that they can't get over it even later in life when you're less religious than you were before. It's still there. It's like, God, I'm having dirty sex and God is watching me. What the actual fuck? Ugh. Science is not God. Beliefs don't make things real. Yeah, it's true. It's about belief. If you want to believe, believe. Um, Quit pretending it's true. It's so silly. Go Chiefs. Yeah, football's back. Who loves football? So you believe in the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything. Answer it, buddy. So you believe in the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything. There was never nothing. And that is a fallacy. The idea that the universe came from nothing is not supported by the evidence. There's no evidence to show that the universe came from nothing. As far as we know, the singularity was always there. And when other evidence comes up, that might change, but right now, people who say nothing came from something and nothing can't come from something don't understand science. You don't understand cosmology. You don't understand quantum mechanics. Larry Krauss has a great video about how particles pop into appearance from what you think is nothing all the time. But the fact is that it's not nothing. There never has been nothing as far as we know. Thanks for the likes, Queer as Fluck. So where did humans come from? Good Lord, this again? What is up? Just go read a science book, man. We know where humans came from. They're not even working on that anymore. We know how humans evolved on a rocky planet. It took billions of years. I know that's hard for anybody to get their head around when you think that the world is only as old as the Bible says it is, or 6,453 years old, whatever. There's dog shit in my living room that's older than that. What's up, Kevin Rubix? My guy. God is good. Yeah, apparently you haven't read the Bible. Which God? Oh yeah, no preaching on the train. Bye, lol Bob. Do you know any conservative atheists? Yes, I know Penn Jillette. He's a conservative atheist. I know David Silverman, who went from being a liberal atheist to a conservative atheist. I know lots of conservative atheists. It's not. There's a cat who joined our group, and he was a kid. It's just people go to school, and if they study politics, you study economics, you might be conservative in those ways. None of those people anymore are anti-gay or socially regressive. Most of those conservatives still support people's freedom to be whoever they are. But yeah, I know lots of conservative atheists, and we need them. I'm not conservative. No, I'm me. I'm in the middle, buddy. I'm a social libertarian. How's that? Uh, the Christian God, only God. Yeah, the Christian God is the only God. Good one. How did he get based on 50 other gods then? Funny how that is. Just because you don't have an answer does not mean God did it. Yeah, the God of the gaps is an embarrassment. If that's an intellectual cop out, and if you're willing to deal with that in your mind, then yeah, more power to you, man. You can go back to digging ditches or whatever it is you do. Yeah, what is the definition of conservative? I'm the wrong guy. I'm gonna get that shit wrong because I don't. Liberal ideas are freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of personal. Those are liberal ideas. That's like I don't. Conservatism and liberalism are for different people. This is about religion. This channel, because Christianity is the only religion that actually had someone come back from the dead. Yeah, nice story, bro, but that doesn't happen to people. It's just a myth. Um, the Christian guy laughed my ass off. How would you know if you have not read any book but the Bible? Yeah. Boy, I feel bad for you. If that's the only book you read, you must really hate reading, man. Woo. Atheists refuse to dig into Christianity because they have to give up their sinful ways. What? Atheists all understand Christianity better than most Christians. We all get it. Most of us were there. Hi there. In all my life, I never knew there were conservative and liberal atheists. So this is new to me. Why not? Atheism doesn't imply anything else about you other than you don't believe in a god or gods. Sadly, I think a lot of the conservative atheists aren't the activist ones. A lot of them. That's a generalization. There's some that are, but uh, you know, you got to believe in aliens. Yeah, I'm a former Lutheran. Which kind of Lutheran? That like covers a lot of ground. Is that we get the crazy ass shitbird Missouri Synod Lutherans who literally like think that that evolution is not true and that the Earth is only 6,000 years old and that Adam and Eve were real things. But I grew up with Lutherans on the East Coast that had women in the pulpit. Lutherans were one of those mainline Protestant sects that didn't lean on biblical literalism. So depending on what kind of Lutheran you are, you might be cool. There he is. Alex Campus is a conservative atheist. My man. Thanks for being here. Yeah, the I bet when you get old, you'll see a change in your beliefs. Okay. I bet you one day you won't scream in all caps at somebody. Whatever. No, because the Bible makes sense. Oh, okay. We're wicked people in need of God's grace. And who made us wicked? Um, most Christians have only read the Bible. I think that's the problem. Put that Bible down, boy. They only read parts of it too. They don't go and read the whole thing. If they did, they'd probably like A, not understand it, B, they might realize and be like, oh, wait a minute. Whatever I thought was just what my youth pastor was telling me, because that's what they want me to believe. And that way they can control me. What should I cook today? Ribs or salmon? Cook salmon, my friend. Salmon. Make sure it's sustainably raised. Ribs, I love barbecue, but God, it's bad for you. I got my bar praise the large shirt on today, but and I eat it from time to time because I just love it so much. But man, it'll kill you. My father was an atheist in his youth, but only to be a rebel. Yeah, maybe. That's cool. He didn't have a real relationship with atheism then if he gave it up. Isn't that what the Christians say? Well, you were never a real Christian if you left it. I'm doing tri-tip. All right, tri-tip. Nice. I believe in humanity. Yeah, me too, man. His views weren't based on knowledge. Yeah, I get that. People would rebel against their parents just to be assholes. I guess everybody did that to some degree. I am a sentientist. I only buy meat that's about to expire and be thrown away. It's nice. Puerto Rico MAGA. Jesus. No preaching on the train, buddy. Bye. What was the reason he went back into believing? Yeah, what was the reason your dad went back into believing? If you did, if that's what you meant, you didn't really say that explicitly. Every version of the Bible was cherry picked as to what went into. Yeah, of course, and somebody asked about um, uh, the Codex uh, Chaksa. What is it? I have it on my list of things to really look into. Um, Somebody asked about it, and it's an Egyptian hieroglyph that is one of the earliest. If it's a hieroglyph, it's a Coptic Egyptic Coptic Egyptian text that is the earliest known manuscript of the Gospel of Judas, which was of course considered heretical because it didn't portray Judas as the one who sold Jesus out for money. All right, so the early Christian church like excised it from the Bible, so we don't have the Gospel of Judas. But that is, one of the examples of how the Bible was edited to the way that the early church wanted it to be. Okay, them and they and him, her agenda. If you support pronouns, what's that mean? Yeah, I support pronouns. I don't care what people call themselves. Kicked me for being Puerto Rican. Really? I think they kicked you for being um, preaching on the train. There's no preaching on the train. Let's debate lady hat. Really? Is this a lady hat? You know a lot of ladies who wear this hat? I'll prove you wrong. Yeah. See, that's the thing. You don't debate religious because they're always going to say, I'll prove you wrong because the Bible says so, or whatever reason. They got some stupid reason that they think that we haven't heard before when we've heard it all before. No, I'm not going to debate you. I have a shop out here. I'll go outside later and beat my head with a hammer. So that'd be more enlightening than debating a religion. Bye. Pinches boricuas, ya, pues ese es un problema con los hispanos, ¿eh? Hay muchos que están bien metidos en su religión, y no pueden pensar en nada diferente. Es un problema, pero hay ateos también que son latinos, ah, y ellos tienen mi confianza. The Bible can't be used to corroborate itself. Well, that doesn't matter to them, though. Um, Do you believe that there is no meaning in our lives? There's no inherent meaning in our lives. No, we're just a species on the planet. The meaning in our lives is to procreate like every other species and try to not to die out, right? That's all the inherent meaning there is. The meaning in our lives is what you give it: education, experience, love. Uh, you know, um, I'm not Puerto Rican, no. Who dies a god? Who dies a god need words? What? Uh, Thank you. Yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish. I work with Mexicans. I have family in Puerto Rico, but by marriage, I'm not Puerto Rican. Do I look Puerto Rican? I don't get much whiter. I get nice and tan in the summer. It's hard to tell now with this light on me, but I work outside all summer, so I do put on a nice tan. But um, ¿estás mexicano? Sin for Atheist es un mexicano, pues no sabía. The meaning is trains. Yes. Mhm. There's a meaning, yeah. Whatever meaning you give your life is what there is, and that's the beauty of it, right? You can give it meaning, you can not give it meaning. You can, just be a nihilist, I guess, and wait for yourself to go back to the dust. But if self improvement and experience and travel and adventure and lovemaking and some good drugs, if and some excellent food, if none of that is meaning enough for you, then you can make up a myth if you want, or believe someone else's myth if that gives your life meaning. But to pretend that like somebody put us here with some kind of meaning, what, to worship the person who put us here? Yikes. Yaminotsuki, you pretty much make your own meaning in life. Yeah, that's exactly right. Bye, Red Eye Killer. Imbecile. Thanks for being here. You believe in love? Do you believe in life out love? I mean, it's not something you find. What, that love? Um, why do you hate something you think? Uh, I don't know. I don't really hate a lot of things. Honestly, I'm a pretty loving guy. There's not a lot of shit I hate, but I do hate religious fundamentalism and religious exceptionalism and Christian nationalism. Oh yeah, and worst argument used. You can't just look at one verse. You have to connect true dots in the Bible. What do I do for work? We have a landscape company here. I'm a horticulturist. Thank goodness nobody would be interested in procreating with this badly. What's that mean? Um, People try to make a sentence. You know what I mean? If you're gonna ask something, try to make it a sentence that we can understand in English or Spanish, or maybe German if it's not too terribly complicated. You just saw the devil. Um, nice. Did you smack him in his face? Uh, Run away. I'm looking at the questions. If you got a question that you need to stay up there, put it in the Q&A box at the bottom. Um, yeah, thousands of other gods. The only Christian one is real. That's funny because I had a guy tell me that only the Muslim one was real the other day. Which I guess you could spin it like it's the same God, but it's really not. If you read it, in the end, it's a different philosophy, different version. You can't believe that God is three people if you're a Muslim. So different God, no Trinity, Jesus not divine. Cool, you're in California, new front yard ideas. Yeah, in California, where you at, man? Rocks, you got a zero escape if you're in California. It's all about saving the water, save the water, save the planet. Remember heroes? Save the cheerleader, save the world. Believe in love. Love without evidence is stalking. Love without reciprocity is stalking. I don't know about evidence. What's evidence of love? Um, because they're on a downward trend and trying to claw back into power. Morning from St. Louis. What's up, St. Louis? Still hot down there? St. Louis brutal in the summer. Tasmania. What's up, my friend? Atheist reasoning from down under in Tasmania. We love it. Are we getting closer to another burning of knowledge? What's that mean? I'll look. If you have a question, thanks, Kev. Yeah, use the question box at the bottom. I just saw the devil. I thought he'd be taller. Yeah, no, he's, you have to fit in a lot of places. You can't be a really big guy if you're the devil. God is love. 1 John 4:16. If you believe in love, you believe in God. No preaching on the train. Yeah, that's just a book. That's just what Peter wrote. Um, I mean, Paul, excuse me. That's just what Paul wrote. He did this. There's no evidence that anyone can point to for anyone to think that that is true or that that is the word of God. That's just tradition, and it's just the Bible saying that. But thank you so much. Um, Nice day in St. Louis. Yeah, the humidity goes away in September, doesn't it? Pretty much. I saw one of those whistles at the thrift store and thought of you. You should have bought it. What is useful about posting? Sorry, I didn't see what that is. The Bible historically accurate? Not particularly. Um, have you ever had your page banned? No, not the page hasn't been banned yet. I've gotten my share of videos taken down and live streams interrupted, and getting blocked, banned from posting for a few days and this and that. And I'm always worried about it. That's why we don't tolerate any of the trolls who preach, because we figure that they're after us. You can't be an atheist creator on TikTok without upsetting the religious and the Christians and a lot of the Muslims too, who just like get on here and troll and try to catch you saying something, and then they block you or they get you mass reported, and then TikTok in its wisdom just takes you down without really looking into it. And I'm not sure, but maybe they're getting better at that. Because, like I said, my last couple of times I got my shit taken down. They upheld my appeal. If they actually look at it and find that there wasn't any violations in it, then they'll put you back. Freemasons looking at you like Freemasons and goofs. Are there any of those assholes left? Uh, God hates everyone. Side note, yeah. Well, he definitely drowned them all once. Yes, so many trolls. How do you deal with it? Just ignore it, or I don't know. I have a hard time ignoring it. That's why my moderators we decided to just get rid of them, because I don't. They get under my skin, and then I say something ugly because I'm want to do that, and then I end up getting blocked, and it's counterproductive. Uh, yeah, majority of the world is. The majority of the world is religious. The majority of the world are followers and not thinking people. So we need to educate people better. We need to normalize atheism, so that the ones who are atheists in their mind but are afraid to say so because they live in Saudi Arabia and they don't want their brother to cut their head off, um, those people can come out of the closet, right? And then all of a sudden, it won't quite seem like the whole world is laughing at us. No wonder why atheists are called fools in the Bible. Atheists are called fools in the Bible because the Bible knew. The writers of the Bible weren't stupid. They knew that there would be people who are like this. They're not going to buy. A certain amount of people are not going to buy this bullshit that we're selling. And so we have to write right in here that in the future they will be mocked. Christians will be mocked, and the fool says in his heart that there is no God. The writers knew what they were doing when they said that. It's to convince the rest of the people. It's not to convince the atheists, right? They knew. The writers who wrote the Bible knew. They were the leaders. They were the smart ones. They wanted to control the other ones, right? They knew that there would be people who mocked the Bible, so they put it right in there. Make sure you look out for people who mock the Bible. That's the devil doing his work. It is unsupported idiocy. I left religion because I just can't lie to myself. Well, that's the issue, isn't it? I mean, you can't make yourself believe in something. I claim to be without sin. No, I claim that there is no sin. God is light, so atheists must love darkness. Okay. A lot of a lot of religion is culture, though. I'm Italian. Catholic religion is part of our culture. Yeah, I mean, if you're, believe me, we know. And when I did the Europe video on how if people are like Spain is incredibly religious, Italy is incredibly religious. Yeah, and then turn around and cheat on their wives and go drinking all night, and they don't. It's just cultural. They don't give it a lot of thought. They certainly don't give it the kind of certitude and arrogant self-righteousness that American evangelicals do, where they wear it on their sleeve and go try to convert their neighbors. Yeah, it's just a part of who you grew up being. They don't give it a lot of thought. Those aren't the people that we really give a shit about. It's the ones who are using it as a cudgel against the rest of us, passing laws that they want to see passed and that only apply to their belief system and aren't really for the greater good of everybody, and that most people just don't agree with. And then you end up living in a place like Pakistan or Afghanistan, where like a religious minority ends up ruling the country full of people who are like, yeah, maybe they consider themselves Muslim, but they don't really give it a lot of thought beyond that. And they're just trying to live their fucking lives in a tough situation. And here all of a sudden people are measuring their beards and beating them over the back with canes because they came out of their house without a fucking burqa on. Yeah, so what? A Catholic priest was the one that proposed the Big Bang. He didn't propose it. He articulated the evidence for it. Yeah, I never said that like religious people haven't been educated enough to make scientific discoveries. What's your point? The world is not ran by atheists. Yes, and apparently grammar is not ran by you. The Bible is full of BS used to dumb down the masses. Yes, somebody finally getting right with the capitals. Thanks. You don't have to use all caps though. I get your point. My mother-in-law used to do that. Rest in peace. Crazy mother-in-law. She used to text no matter what it was. It was all caps. How you doing today? Hey, can I ask you a question? Hey, have you seen Madison? Just always screaming. I can't help it when I read it. I scream in my head. It's really annoying. I am not an atheist because if the Big Bang, here we go. Priests are atheists. Yeah, a lot of priests are atheists. Love how educated you are on all this. Inspires me. You're great. Thank you, atheistic reasoning. Thank you. I came up in a time when our education system wasn't as fucked as it is now. And I'm not Mr. Everything. I don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the world. There's a lot of things that are way above my pay grade, and I'm constantly embarrassed by not being able to answer some of the questions and some of the things that my great listeners come up with. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, man. But so I appreciate it when you say things like that. I love it. Bad ADHD. I do have ADHD, I think. I think Christians need to learn Hebrew and read a Torah. Yeah, well, you don't really need to learn Hebrew to read the Torah, but Christians do need to read the Torah. I live garlic. Um, okay. I live curry. A lot of priests are atheists. Yeah, I've met priests who are like, you can see it when they talk. They're like, well, and that's what they went to school for. If you go through all the way through seminary, you're bound to come out with serious, serious questions about the nature of the myth arc that you've been taught. It's just when you study it that hard, you can't help but see the contradictions and learn enough to be like, But then they've like that's their education. They've invested the money, they've invested the time. They wanted to be a priest, and they wanted to be a priest to help the community, to minister to people who go to the church and be a comfort to people and do that. These are real people who want to do that, and they don't necessarily stop doing it because they became atheistic after they went to seminary. They still want to do that job, and this is their way of ministering to the people and talking to the people in a way that those people or sheeple, as we like to say, will understand. So yeah, I know Catholic priests who are atheists. You were about to be a priest? Sorry, man. I like sex way too much to ever have considered being a celibate sacerdote. I mean, what is what the hell, man? Could it be that God believing in people found something that you haven't? Yeah, they found something in their minds that makes them believe in things that aren't there. I get that. I don't want to die. There's a comfort myth, right? It makes you a lot more comfortable about the fact that you're going to pass on when you think that you're going to wake up somewhere and be all happy again and see your dead relatives. I get it, and then you can sleep at night. But like you said, I can't make myself believe the unbelievable any more than I can make myself gay when I'm not gay. I'm straight. It's just one of those things, and vice versa. My uncle George Ricker went to seminary, became an atheist, and wrote many atheist books. Nice, man, Robert Ricker. That's awesome, and that happens so much. I know ministers. I know Protestant ministers who are atheists, essentially. Um, Yeah, I understand what you're saying about atheist priests using their language to comfort people. Uh, uh, um, a story that I remember was when we put up the atheist billboard in Milwaukee with American atheists several years ago. This was the Christmas of 14. Um, we put up an atheist billboard in Milwaukee, and the billboard had a picture of a little girl, and she's writing her list for Christmas to Santa. And then the picture on the left of the screen is her writing it, and the picture on the right is the list itself. And it says, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is to skip church." The Christians lost their fucking minds in the Milwaukee area. I mean, it was such a success, this billboard. But when they interviewed me on the news over the billboard, and then they would go get like a good reporter will, they'll go get an opposing viewpoint. And so somebody grabbed a priest up, and they like, "What do you think about this billboard, priest?" And the priest is like, "Well, I'm not sure they're really attacking Christianity. This seems like they're attacking religion in general, and in our case, that means the whole Jesus story." He said it like that. We were watching it and going, he knows it's a myth, man. He knows it's a myth. It was just he didn't even try to pretend. What do I think of creationists? I think creationists are the biggest pieces of shit on the planet, and I cannot tolerate that bullshit. It's one thing to believe in God. Actively denying science and lying to kids is evil. All right. Take yourself and fucking jump off a cliff, if you're a creationist. It's just ridiculous. I am against all organized religions. Yeah, it's tough. Organized religion is tough to justify these days. Doesn't atheist mean actually mean antichrist and agnostic mean I don't know yet? Yeah, well, agnostic is people argue with me all the time about the meaning of the term agnostic, and technically it means lack of knowledge, right? We don't know. None of us know if for sure if there's a God or not. But agnostics who call themselves agnostics, they generally mean that they don't know whether they believe or not. They don't know whether they waffle back and forth. Do I believe? Don't I believe? That's how agnostics who call themselves agnostics generally use the term. We're all agnostic atheists, except for a very few people who are like, I know God doesn't exist, which is patently silly. You can't prove it and you can't disprove it. So we're all agnostic, and all theists are agnostic too, right? Every Christian, every Muslim, everybody is an agnostic, but they won't admit that. They'll be like, no, I know it's true. My God does exist. I've seen him. I've experienced him. Okay. Uh-huh. What's up, bearded skeptic? Didn't see you here, my bud. Get some. If I'm wrong, I won't know. If you're wrong, you wasted an eternity. Um, what's that really mean? Bye, DJ Spike. Cheerios. Um, Pascal's wager. Is that what you were talking about? Yeah, it sounded like that related to that, which is, of course, a really weak form of faith. If you have to pretend just because you want to hedge your bets, then an all-knowing God would know, right? All-knowing God would know that you're full of shit, and you're just saying you believe. Oh yeah, yeah. It was like bit like the kid who's like 9 and he already doesn't believe in Santa Claus, but then come November, he's like, "What's Santa gonna bring me?" And he's playing the game for his parents. Yeah, being Gnostic in either direction is really wrong. You can't be that, but it's implausible. God's possible. It's just implausible. There's no evidence for it. Nothing's ever been shown to be studyable or testable, documentable, identifiable, collectible. Never found anything like that. So that according to again Larry Krauss, it's not that God's impossible. He's implausible on an extreme level. So why would you give it any credence at all until some evidence comes up to make us go in that direction? It's just a fantasy. My train sets in heaven are going to be huge. Yeah, man. Woo woo! Big, big, giant train sets. Uh, I don't trust the atheists that use Pascal. Nobody does. Pascal knew Pascal's wager was stupid. He just thought of it. It was like a philosophical. These guys sat around drinking absinthe and thought of it. I am being and living my true self and not betting on my life on a wager. Yeah, that's all you can do, man. Do the best you can. Be nice to people. Don't hurt anybody. And smoke good weed. We have a creation evidence moose. We have a creation evidence moose period footprints. Ibside dinosaurs prints. Obvious fake. I don't know what MUS period means. You're saying that they have footprints that are like human footprints inside dinosaur footprints, so that they existed side by side, but it's an obvious fake. Yeah, everybody knows that that's bullshit. Have you assessed the Kalam and the contingency? Yeah, Kalam's is dumb. Again, it assumes that there was nothing at some point and that the universe came from nothing, and there's no evidence to state that. It also concludes falsely that there must be one personal creator when there might have been, a panel of creators. There might have been a trillion creators for all um, Kalam knew. There's assumptions in Kalams that just aren't supportable by the evidence. Uh, uh, uh. Atheists are good because it's right. Christians are good out of fear reward. Who's more moral? Yeah, yeah. Well, I know, we know, especially it's being played out in spades. Here we are, with Christian nationalists. Um, the whole Texas abortion law thing is as immoral as it gets. It's brutal, and nobody cares um, about kids, right? They care about biblical doctrine. And why they allow it for 6 weeks if they're so against it? Why even let them have it for 6 weeks? Aren't you contradicting your own argument? If it's wrong, it's wrong. Um, if they're going to go that way, then so right there, they're full of shit. Yeah, Calam's bad. Thanks, acid tongue atheist. I didn't see you, buddy. What's up? Secret of the sauce. Timmy, somebody. Ooh, thanks for the likes, Joy. Nenamps, thanks for the follow. They need babies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got into it again with a Muslim. Was like, you atheists keep on like talking your shit, and you just keep on losing, and Islam keeps on winning. Why don't you just give up? Somebody else is like, yeah, well, Islam's just going to outbreed us all. But it's easy to maintain a society that claims to believe in Islam when there's a death threat against you if you don't, right? Take all of that shit away, and how many people would openly come out? We have ex-Muslims all the time, and they can address these things much, much better than I can. But the statistics on who's a Muslim are significantly skewed because people are afraid to come out as atheists because you could get killed for it. So when you're running around on the back of a truck with with an automatic weapon and sticks to beat people with if they come out as atheists or apostates from Islam, then it's easier to show statistics that say everybody is Islamic in a certain country. People are fucking afraid to come out, and it's not any different in America. People are afraid to come out against Christianity because the rest of their family will shun them or whatever. Maybe they won't get caned, maybe they will, but it's just a different level of the same bullshit, man. I don't like atheists attacking believers. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, I guess we don't try to attack individual believers. We try to reason with them a little bit, but I don't try to convert anybody. If you're an adult and you believe, I don't go on Christian lives and try to debate Christians and tell them not to believe. It's not our mission here. But uh, we don't we don't. We don't tolerate religious fundamentalism as a thing, and we don't. I don't have a problem with people attacking religion because religion itself is ruinous. It creates horrible atrocities in the world, and there's nothing wrong with questioning, with ridiculing, with disrespecting religion. Every person deserves to believe what they want to believe, and that right needs to be respected. But to respect religion out of hand, that's what leads to Christian scientists not giving their kids medicine and letting them die because the government is too scared to violate their sacred religious beliefs. No, if your religion is a danger to society, you don't get to do it. You don't get to practice it. If it harms others through its actions, it doesn't deserve respect. So the day of respecting religions just because it's someone's religion is over. The religion needs to earn any respect that it's given. Period. Mocking it is our right, and ridiculing the ridiculous is what I do. I can't change my stripes any more than a true believer can make himself not believe. It's just the way their brains are wired. Is it possible that America could become that in the near future be the home of the new Holy See? Yeah, I worry. Biddy Buddha moving to Canada, man, it's so awesome for her. And I was jealous when she said that to me. I wish I could move to Canada, but I can't. I'm at the point where I could name off the top of my head 15 countries that I'd rather live in than this ridiculous embarrassment of a country with these Christians doing what they're doing here. Atheists wish Christianity to not exist and that's hostile. No, Christianity is hostile, and we're fighting against the biggest discrimination that goes on these days. That's the other thing, man. Some lady came on and was like, "I still have a problem with atheists needing advocacy because most atheists I meet are white males." Which a she needs to get out more if that's really what happens to her. B, you don't think that we're aware of that white male atheists in the movement. You don't think that we're aware that the movement seems like a white man's movement. But the idea that people who are privileged in most areas of their lives, the idea that it's okay to discriminate against those people for their lack of religion is repugnant. It's not okay to discriminate against me simply because I'm privileged in some areas. Some of us are trying to do the right thing. Some of us are trying to use our white privilege to stand up for the colored atheist, to stand up for the female atheist, to stand up for the minority religion, to stand up for the Native American, to stand up for the gay and lesbian friend of ours. Some of us are trying to use our privilege and the ease that we have of coming out of the closet to stand up for other people and forward the idea that atheism should be normalized and is a perfectly fine state of affairs to find yourself in. So I was really offended by that, and I don't give a shit who thinks I'm wrong. It doesn't matter if you're white and if you're a man. It's still wrong to discriminate against one because they're an atheist. So we don't need to support his right to be an atheist because he's a white man. He's got everything else going good for him. That makes it okay to discriminate against me because I'm an atheist because I'm a white man. Get the fuck out of here. Cool. I can feel funny. It's funny because I feel for atheists as an Orthodox Jew because of the persecution we have gone through. Yeah, I mean, thanks, Jew Billy. I hadn't seen you there, buddy. Good to see you again. Yeah, no, I mean, anybody who's got any human empathy has to feel bad for this discrimination that atheists go through. And if you don't think it's real, then you're just not paying attention. Is Islam threatening people to be Islam that different than Christians threatening with condemnation? Yeah, I think it's just a more extreme version of the same bullshit. It's not any better, but Christians aren't out cutting the heads off of atheists and beating them in the streets in America, at least. Not that I've seen, but it's not any better. Honestly, from a philosophical standpoint, it's just as wrong. And the Christian nationalists are the American Taliban. Period. Atheists are like vegetarians because you are an atheist. Do you think all should be atheists? No, I don't think everybody should convert to atheism. I think we should educate people better so that religion doesn't happen to people, honestly. And I think indoctrination of children is wrong. I don't care if you're not an atheist. Atheists are like vegans or CrossFitters, which usually shuts them up. What? Oh, what they're doing is right. Well, first of all, it is. It is right. It's the only defensible philosophy there is, but it's your right to be your religion if you want to be. And I'll fight for that right. Um, but yeah, there's self-righteous atheists, and some of us can't help it. Your safety is first. Shunning is a violent act. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Thanks, Simfree. If Jesus were real, he would be so disgusted with today's Christians. Yeah, well, A, wouldn't have known what a Christian was. And B, you're right. I did a video about that. I mean, what would you do if you saw Jesus? I mean, tell him to fucking run, man. Go somewhere else. Go find a nice community of, a nice kibbutz somewhere in Israel where he can live as a communist with people who aren't going to, give him shit for not wearing, Dockers. I don't know. And like a lot of people like to say, they'd probably just crucify him again if he came. Uh, Atheists, for the most part, I get along with well, especially when we are having discussions, not arguing. Yeah, I think and you know, I think that's a pretty common circumstance. I think um, the atheists that I meet, are usually more reasonable people, more willing to discuss, more willing to, and we're not discriminating against people because they're Christians. We're trying to fight discrimination against ourselves. So, thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. We do get a lot of comments about how atheists are so angry. They're so angry at everybody. Atheists, I mean, it's just so mad. What happened to you that you're mad? I wish In God We Trust wasn't on the money. I know, man. It's disgusting. And I got a bill in the drawer that doesn't, it's from the 50s, from the early 50s, and it doesn't have God on the money. Jesus was a Buddhist. Yeah, maybe. Too bad he can't reincarnate because he ain't coming back. I think we need to decry shunning as violence. Yeah, I think you're right. That's brutal when you get shunned by your family. There's nothing outside of physical violence that's much worse than that. That's horrible. Uh, if you think Jesus wouldn't be crucified, then explain why Trump got shafted by the people. If Trump got shafted, it's because he was a dick. He was a dick to so many people that he got what he had coming to him. And I personally don't believe that he got shafted. Why did he get shafted? How did he get shafted? Uh, the worst loser in history, right? The sorest, sourest loser in history. Charles Darwin was a Freemason and therefore believed in a creator. Is that right? Okay. I don't give a shit. Evolution doesn't deny creation, right? If you can still believe that God started evolution 4.5 billion years ago. Um, the two are not mutually exclusive. And Darwin, I think he waffled. I haven't looked into it that much, but no, ZKI 583, no preaching on the train. Bye. No atheists have abandoned their children for becoming Christian. Yeah, that's a fact right there. A fact. I'd be the angriest oak tree in history. What does that mean? Hello from Australia. How are you? From Rio down under. How you doing down there? Trump is a closet atheist. I don't even think he's that closeted. I think when he was younger, he made plenty of fucking references to the fact that he was an atheist and didn't give a shit about religion. You have to be stupid to have been fooled by the way Trump pandered to you. If you're a Christian, you have to be stupid. He clearly doesn't give a shit about God or the Bible. Secret of the sauce. What's up, Regina? What's the secret of the sauce? Is that for your tri-tip today? Who do I think I am? Just a guy with a lot of fucking opinions, man. And a lot of followers and a lot of watchers on the live today. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Trying to sleep. Yeah, huh? It's what's it already? Damn near midnight down there. Thanks. I hope we can put you to sleep here. I don't know what to tell you. But he said we need help from the Lord Jesus Christ. Who said that? Trump? He's pandering. He pandered to the Bible idiots. That's how he got elected the first time, and it's how he got unelected the second time by putting all his eggs in that one basket. If he just simply tried to appeal to a broader range of people, he probably'd still be president. And if he wasn't such a dirtbag, scumbag, narcissist, hater, idiot, orange plague, he'd probably still be president, and he might have gotten some shit done. All presidents pretend to be Christians, and all presidents may their children to Jews? What? How do you may your children to what does that mean? Marry your children to Jews? No exceptions. There's never been a president who didn't marry his children to a Jew. I think that's probably false. But I'd be more willing to believe that all presidents pretend to be Christian. But like I said, Jimmy Carter was Christian. Uh, I don't have any doubts that Jimmy Carter actually believed what he preached and tried to be a good Christian. Tried to be that guy who was just good to everybody. Yeah, Trump misses Jeffrey Epstein and the island. Yeah, he does. I missed out. I lucked out because in Mexico, education is secular by law. Even on Catholic school, I learned evolution. Well, the Catholic Church accepted evolution, trying to keep up with the times instead of denying science. They tried to, um, they at least accepted scientific knowledge and admitted that Genesis was obviously best seen as a metaphor because the creative process clearly took more than 6 fucking days. So yeah, that's good to hear about that. If because the Mexicans I meet, and that's no slam on them, they're working class dudes, and most of them only have a fifth, sixth grade education. So if you were lucky enough to get all the way through school and that was your experience, then you got a better education than we give our idiots here. It's estimated that around 20 to 40% of U.S. presidents were secretly secular. I don't deny, I don't doubt that at all. That's easy to believe, especially before the TV days, especially before there was such an optic, right? Somebody asked me the other day what happened in the 50s. Part of what happened in the 50s was all of a sudden we had TV and people could get around the TV and look at an asshole like Billy Graham showing people what it was to be a pious Christian as opposed to a godless communist. And it became this thing. Well, are you? Are you? Are you? You know. And before that, just wasn't on people's minds. People were struggling to make a living. The privilege that came with the rise of the middle class made it easier for people to spend time thinking about crap like that. Whereas people on the frontier were like too busy fighting off disease and famine and righteously indignant Native Americans trying to kill them. They didn't have time to proselytize to their neighbor and worry about what church people went to. So I think that presidents back in the day largely didn't give a shit and didn't have to. It wasn't out there going, yeah, that Andrew Jackson, yeah, he sure is a scumbag. I wonder if he's a Christian. And then it turns out the guy's never been in a church once, and all he was a warmongering criminal fuck. Most of these early presidents weren't Christians. Or we know that Thomas Jefferson wasn't a Christian. He was a deist. All the George Washington identified as a deist. So yeah, if you really, really, really get down to it, um, I think a lot of presidents weren't Christian. Abraham Lincoln wasn't Christian. He famously denied Christian dogma, and didn't know he was agnostic in the truest sense. Sometimes he was so frustrated he would say that he dropped to his knees in prayer because he didn't know what else to do. That's indoctrination to the God idea, right? If he didn't, he wouldn't have done that if no one had ever explained to him that there might be a God out there. But in times of extreme stress and extreme duress, a guy like that, he doesn't know what else to do. He prays to God for a minute. Please help me. Give me some inspiration. That's human, right? But to believe Christian dogma is to actively deny common sense. It's just unsupportable bullshit. Do you believe it's 100% impossible for a creator to have created the universe? No. I've said that many times. No, of course not. It's the most implausible answer according to the evidence and according to what we know. And every year that goes by, it gets less plausible because we discover more about what may really have happened. Thomas Jefferson was the goat. Yeah, yeah. Um, he had his issues. I don't know. I don't know enough about him to really know if he was like a good slave owner. Whatever the fuck that means. But uh, we know he wasn't Christian, and neither was Ben Franklin, and neither was Madison, and neither was um, the people who wrote the founding doc, the other people who really put the thought into the founding documents. None of those guys were Christians. They certainly weren't evangelical Christians. They wouldn't even have known what that was. Nothing in the days of the founders would have no Christian in America would have looked like an evangelical Christian today. Hello from Ireland. Hello, love. How are you from Ireland? The Irish accents, don't get to do it that often. Uh, One day, religious people will meet the wizard. Thank you for introducing me to I Blame Bill. Isn't she awesome? I can't believe people don't know her. She's got so many followers and she's so beautiful and so smart. I love her every time I see her. Hello from Canada. What's up, shoe slinger? Who you throwing a shoe at today, my friend? Poopy poop head. I've seen you before. I love that day. What is up? Why is religious teachings not a crime? Well, religious education, as far as educating people to world religion shouldn't be a crime. Religious indoctrination should be against the law. Sounds like your atheism is its own religion. Yeah, we hear that all the time. That's just dumb. So it's our passion because we're sick of what's happening to this great country at the hands of Christian nationalists. So yeah, some of us are passionate about it, and we believe that a better education system will lead to more atheism and less religious fundamentalism. But yeah, we don't have a holy book that tells us to punish people. We don't have a deity to worship. We don't have a leader at the top of the cult. Yeah, there's nothing about atheism that's a religion. So uh, religious people like to put us on their level, though, don't they? They really makes them more comfortable if they think that atheists are just it's just a replacement, right? That's just their religion. It makes them more comfortable with their own bullshit. And really, what they want is everyone to validate their myth belief. They want nobody to, even if you believe in another god or another dogma, they want you to have that same kind of paradigm. You know what I mean? It's less threatening to them. But the existence of atheists makes them really doubt their own faith because they all have doubt. Everybody knows it's not true underneath, and they're indoctrinated or they're scared. One or the other. Fear, guilt, and indoctrination. That's what keeps religion alive. And atheists really rock the boat in those people's minds. They don't like that at all. So you get every argument from atheism is a religion to it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does. I can't even say it. It's so dumb, but they hit you with it all the time, and they think they're so smart. Yeah, the stories and concepts in Hindu, Christian, all of it, all myth arcs are worth studying for their literary, for what you can learn there if you're not taking it literally. It's literature, it's anthropology, it's psychology, it's philosophy. There's just nothing wrong with learning about all that stuff. Absolutely nothing at all. It's part of our fabric as human beings. Believe it or not, most MSM government and corporations agree with you. Most What's MSM? I'm starting to question things now. Did the moon landing actually happen? Oh, this conspiracy theorist. You know how much harder it would be to actually pull off a fake moon landing than to just get it done? Of course the moon landing happened. Of course it is. Why don't we go back then? Because there's nothing there, and maybe they will go back when it's time to build a station there. But right now it's like we couldn't, there's no resources that we could mine. If it was full of uranium or anything exploitable, you'd be fucking goddamn sure they'd be there. They'd be there right now with a city. But there's nothing there but basically one kind of rock and dust. The Bible is just an ancient book of plagiarized. Yes, the Bible, yes, plagiarized. Yes, it's based on earlier myths. That's the big one for me. How anybody can look at Christianity and not realize that it's based on earlier mythologies and early astral theology and the zodiac. It's just missing the point. If you're going to believe one, believe the first one. Go find the first one and believe it. That's got way better chance of being right than the only religion that God actually died for us and came back. That's why it's right, because it's the only one that has a God that died for us. What? If you believe that, then you'll believe anything, man. Uh, yeah, really much harder than the moon landing. It would have been. Oops, fatherless activity. What's that mean? Oh, mainstream media. Yeah, no, I think so. Uh, uh, Zoroastrianism. Yeah, no, but there's read Acharya S. Read Diane D.S. Murdoch is her name. She explains how early religion is based on astral theology. Right? There's a reason there's 12 apostles. There's 12 signs of the zodiac. There's a reason Jesus was at the center. He represents the sun. Thomas Paine wrote about that. Jesus is simply a personification of the sun, and he was placed in a position of worship instead of the sun, where the sun used to be. And Jesus was the Messiah who rose, who came during the age of Pisces, right? That's why there's so much fish imagery in Christian writings, right? Because Jesus was the rising and dying sun Messiah during the age that the sun is rising in Pisces, which will last for another couple hundred years or less, and then it'll be Aquarius, right? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And when it comes, if biblical thinking had continued, if we were still at that point where people were writing about, uh, uh, if there was like a continuation of the Bible, Jesus would have been with us till the end of the age, not till the end of the world. He would have been with us till the end of the age, as he said, and then he would have been replaced by an Aquarian Messiah. because the sun is now moving in 2200 or so. The sun will start rising in the zodiac sign, the constellation of Aquarius. And yeah, and there's so many. Jesus is predated by almost everybody, but there's only a few newer ones than Christianity, right? Islam, and Islam is clearly based on the Torah and Christian teachings. And all you got to do is read the Quran. He talks about it all the time. I'm only 6 chapters in, and I can see that he's like always referring to the book, and that means the Bible. He's referring to, and remember when we gave Abraham this, and we remember when we gave Noah this, and remember when Jesus came and did this. He based it on the Bible. Are you saying that the unicorns in the Bible aren't real? Uh, yeah. Jesus was a femboy bottom twink. Changed my mind. No, I did a video on it. Go scroll through my videos and find the one about how Jesus was gay. Yeah, Jesus was a messy bottom. I never understood why an all-knowing God needed this trial period to see who deserved heaven. It's dumb. It's just an unsustainable myth. It really is. There's no sense to it at all. Making a whole live to disprove Jesus lies. Satan lies. What does that even mean? Jesus was like a rock star. Yeah, he was like, I'm not living past 30. That's right. Live fast, die young, leave a good looking corpse, right? And we know he did that, right? And all of the photographs of Jesus show him to be a really good looking guy. And then he like not only did he leave a good looking corpse, he like resurrected, so then walked around for a while and was cool. So what a rock star. Um, thank you. Bye, and Sam. You rebuke me in the name of Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm such a demon that I threatened someone through my phone. I hope you're not. Hope you don't have a demonic visiting because you listened to an atheist today. One of my father's jokes was that if Jesus had been a cattler, then fish would be banned during. Yeah, if Jesus was we didn't have a lot of cattle though, did we? In Judea, more goats. Jesus could have been a goat herder, but no, it was fish and fishermen because of the zodiac. Uh, the image of Jesus was the boyfriend of Michelangelo. There's a lot of I hear different things. It's the lover of Da Vinci, of Leonardo. It shouldn't call him Da Vinci. That was not a last name. He was Leonardo from Da Vinci. It's the son of a pope, right? The Borgia Pope used his son. But we know obviously the medieval and Renaissance art is based on some cute white guy that they used. Jesus was a playboy? I don't know about that, man. He didn't even have a pair of shoes. He was couch surfing. I'm not sure he was a playboy. He even had six-pack abs as a baby, did he? Yes, it was the age of Aquarius or the one before it. Age of Aquarius is about to begin. It's not here yet. The one before it was with the age of Taurus, right? There was the one before the age of Pisces was the age of Taurus, which is why, or the age of Aries, the ram, which is why the Old Testament has ram imagery. That's why Isaac, Abraham ended up, God gave him a ram stuck in the bushes to sacrifice instead of his son after he told him to kill his son, and the fucker was going to listen to it. Um, and Moses got upset with the Israelites because when he came back, they were worshiping a bull because they had forgotten that they were supposed to be worshiping a ram, and they were worshiping Taurus, which was the one before Aries. It makes a lot of sense, and I'm not saying it's true or not, but I'm saying there's literature out there to back it up, and you can read it if you want. Jesus wasn't real, no historical proof other than that fairy tale book. Yeah, Jesus certainly wasn't. He wasn't real in the sense that anybody thinks he was real. He might have been a prototype or kind of an archetype of a wandering ascetic preacher. Jesus was 100% a playboy. Never heard of ever heard of Rasputin. What does Rasputin have to do uh, with Jesus? Yeah, yeah, Rasputin. My favorite Alan Ruck character ever. We played Rasputin on an HBO series. Jesus loves steaks and shrimps. Little surf and turf for Jesus. You ever seen Zeitgeist? Yeah, that's part of what got the mythicist group that I joined in 14 or 15. I hooked up with a bunch of mythicists who had seen Zeitgeist and loved it so much that they started a whole group about promoting Jesus, Christ mythicism because of this movie, which is flawed. The Zeitgeist movie is flawed, and the guy makes some leaps that he shouldn't. But it makes a lot of sense if you watch the first part of Zeitgeist, you'll know what I'm talking about. And he's not the only one. This is like I said, look up Acharya S Acharya. DM Murdoch was her name. She died sadly of cancer too young, but a great author. I interviewed her a couple of times. and she's got books that explain. Her last book before she died was about how Moses was a myth. Um, I think it's called the myth of the lawgiver. Um, but yeah, there's serious historical doubt that Moses even existed. If you could meet Jesus, what would be the first sentence out of your mouth? Um, if I could meet Jesus, what would be the first sentence out of my mouth? Uh, I don't know. I have to think about that one. I'd be like, "Where you been, man?" You know? I'd be like, "Have you seen what these people have done with your legend? Have you seen what these assholes have done? Run for the fucking hills." Did you like the part on the money? I don't know. We the that I think I went to sleep on that part, talking about zeitgeist. It's split into 3 parts. You guys talking about and it's a conspiracy theory shit, right? And not that it's wrong. It might, there might be some validity there, but I think the second part is about banking. And there's 3 parts. What was the third one? Jesus, banking, and something else. And somehow he kind of relates them together. What do you think about some atheists who converted to Christianity after some revelation? Then that they had an issue, that happens, you know. And I'm not saying I can't predict the future. That doesn't mean it's right. That's the thing. People are always like, "Oh, you're going to convert on your deathbed." So what? What if I do? What if I get scared and I do? Is my indoctrination kicking in? Because if it wasn't for the fact that I was raised Christian, I wouldn't even know to go there. But that doesn't make it real. If I cop out when I'm dying, that still doesn't mean it's real. In a court of law, would you swear on the Bible? No, I've already done that. No, I was deposed, and it wasn't really a court of law, but I was deposed by lawyers where I had to swear to tell the truth, and I refused to swear. So help me God. I told him no. I told him I don't believe in God. And he went like this. He went, "Do you swear sincerely?" He didn't give a shit. Christians killed the Gnostic truth seekers. Yeah, well, Gnosticism was pretty dumb too. But yeah, you're right. The early church smashed all of those heretics. They've decided. Constantine and his council decided what was right, decided what was wrong for the new religion, and made it up. Again, and anybody who believes Christian dogma is believing what those guys decided was Christian dogma at that point, right? And then formed the Catholic Church, which was everything. That was Christianity until the Great Schism, and it became an orthodoxy in the East, and that was more political, I think, than really doctrinal. I think they both believed the same bullshit. And then Martin Luther, of course, and the Reformation split off and decided that it was okay for people to read the Bible instead of just listening to the priest's bullshit. Um, and now we have 50,000 different denominations of Christianity. So there you go. Do you like to get nailed? It's you can swear on no religious book. You don't have to. I died 3 times and no God appeared. Yeah. And then the other Christians are like, "Oh, what about those 2 people that died and they both saw the same thing?" All right. Well, what about every other guy that died and didn't see anything or saw something different? How is that evidence? Anecdotal evidence. Sudhir Patel. Sorry that you died 3 times, my bud. And I'm glad you're back. Here's to Sudhir Patel. I hope you don't have to die again, my friend. I don't mind dying knowing I am an atheist. Yeah, and I hear hospice nurses all the time talk about how she's watched numerous people die over and over and over and over, and at the end, no one is talking to God, and no one is bringing that up. It's just not on their minds. We will all be worshiping the Harry Potter books one day. I think we'll all be worshiping Batman one day. I think that's more like it. What's up, NJ Olives? Hello, friends. Why do they keep changing the Bible's verbiage? Well, they keep changing it because people get stupider, for one thing. People are like more on George W. Bush's or Trump's level of reading ability, and they can't understand. So every generation that goes by has a harder time understanding the language of the past generations. Like, King James Bible may as well be in Greek for people who read it at the level that most Americans can read at. So it's irrelevant to them. You know what I mean? So and because they know it'll sell. You make a new version of the Bible, and people are going to buy it, and you're going to make money. And then they want to whitewash the language. They want to take out certain things that people find, people like us find, like, here's the Bible promoting slavery or condoning misogyny again, and you change a couple of words and you can spin that a different way. So one day there'll be a version of the Bible where everybody who was ever a slave is called a voluntary servant or some bullshit like that. It's not surprising. I mean, if I was cynical, I would just write a daily devotion book. Here's a book on how to pray every day for 360. I go fucking sell it to Hobby. I'd make $1 million. I'd do that, but I can't. You know, I gotta call it like I see it, and I can't take advantage of people's simplicity that way, like other people can and have. Televangelists. Bush is a jam genius orator compared to Trump. He seems like it now, right? You hear Bush now, and you go, oh, the old guy. He wasn't so bad. Let's have a beer and talk about Bush. And he talks some sense. He's like, he's scared by the nationalism that's going on right now. And I was actually stunned. I'm like, this fucking guy, he gets it on a level that I didn't think that he did. And I still don't think he was a very good president. He was a piece of shit. And he started the religious cabinet office and stuff, but he was a puppet for Cheney and Rove and these other assholes. Why are depictions of Jesus white? We just went through that, man. Somebody picked their gay lover, made him comb his hair nice and wash himself up, and they made some art of him in the day in medieval times. The Dual Podcast. Thank you for asking, Erica. Just the new episode just came out. It's on the Big Bang. If you're interested in the Big Bang and you're interested in an astronomer's version, not just me, who's a plant guy. If you want to hear an astronomer talk about the Big Bang and explain it, listen to the new podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on atheistunderground.com. Not hard to remember. Everything I do is called Atheist Underground. Atheistunderground.com will get you all of the episodes. Listen to them backwards. The first one was good. The second two and three, I had some issues with my producer losing interest. And then 4, I took over and started doing them. So from 4 on out, I'm pretty happy with each one of them. So yeah, you can. I liked his mic drop yesterday on January 6th. I didn't see that. Did Bush say something? Are you talking about Bush? Chris Burrows. Chris Burros. What's up, Chris? Thank you. Yes, please do listen. Thank you, Erica. Listen to the podcast if you can. We appreciate your support. We do have a Patreon too, and you can get the podcast 3 days early when they do come out if you pledge $1, and we would appreciate that as well. Woman on the Warpath. Thanks for sharing. Woman on a war. I love a woman on a warpath. What's sexier than that? Isn't that what Joyce Myers does? I don't know who Joyce Myers is. Alicia McMullen G. As a teacher, I've been having trouble chanting the Pledge of Allegiance in my classroom. Do I have a choice? Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Depends on where you are. You might get fired for it. So take that into consideration. If you're in Texas, I'd probably fake it if you really need your job there. But you don't have to say the pledge. Stand behind the kids so they can't see you, and no one will make a fuss about it. But kids don't have to, right? If you want to stand your ground and not, it's against your. I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses do because they don't. Uh, they just don't recognize that right of the government to tell you what to do in that way. Could be wrong about that, but I know you don't have to, and it's taking a stand, and a kid who does it is liable to get ostracized. And more power to them, man. We need kids like that to stand up. My kid did it. My kid stood right up to his teacher when she tried to teach them Christianity in 5th grade at the public school. He stood right up and said, "It's not right for you to teach us about God in this way." In 4th grade, excuse me. And he was sticking up for his classmates, a couple of girls that he loved in that class that were pagans, identified as pagans. And they were all like, the teachers, would go to places that made them uncomfortable because every kid's not Christian anymore. Back in the day, you kind of could get away with that because every kid in the class was a Christian, except for the little Jewish girl. And then they threw them a bone too, because everybody learns about Hanukkah and you learn about Jewish tradition as a Christian in school growing up. This is what I went through. But today it's not like that. You got 2 Muslims, 2 Jews, a couple of pagans, 3 atheists, a Hmong, a Buddhist, all kinds of shit, and then a handful of Christians, and then the teachers gets upset because she knows that not everybody's a Christian in class, and that's just it hurts her heart because those kids haven't found Jesus, and so she identifies which ones are atheist or pagan or Hmong or Buddhist or Muslim, and she proselytizes right there in the public school, and it's wrong. And you have to pay attention. If you're not paying attention to it, and you have kids in the public school classroom, they're gonna get proselytized to sooner or later by some Christian fucking teacher. My high school daughter earlier had a teacher in history class try to use divine intervention routinely as a reason for what happened in history. Divine intervention, divine intervention, divine intervention. It's wrong. It's unconstitutional. It's against the law for the public school teacher to promote one religion. That's the government promoting a certain religion. It's unconstitutional and against the law. And I fought it and I won. Off to watch football. If praying worked, the Chargers will win. Yeah, thanks too much, Monkey Biz. Watch your football, my friend. Maybe I'll check out a little football myself. That I don't know. I got a lot to do. I'm not sure I'll watch any football. Should have said something in grade 7 social studies class when the teacher said the Bible was a historical document. Yeah, this is the kind of shit that you can get. If you have this issue with your class, talk to ffrf.org. Write them a letter. It's intake at ffrf.org. If you have a complaint, and they will look into it. And if it's something that's going to get under the wire and they're not going to get anything done, they won't. But if they can, they will have a lawyer write a letter, and they'll win because you can't do that. Booble is not truth. No, it's not truth. There is no booble. If you believe in others, you give it existence. If you believe in others, you give it existence. That's all. Thanks for the fire, Mad Hatter. What's up, buddy? Like I remembered your name. Is it still the Mad Hatter? My man. Appreciate you, buddy. Hear me out. Maybe the country was founded on the basis of Christianity. It wasn't. That's a myth. Read The Founding Myth by Andrew Seidel. Why Christian nationalism is un-American. Scrolling back through the comments here to see. I'm going to open up the Q&A to see what we got. Let's go through thousands again. Are we getting close to another burning of knowledge yet? There's only a limited amount of characters. I apologize. I wish I could do something. TikTok needs to fix that because it's not enough. The Q&A should be longer. What's your opinion on the Kashyyyk record? I don't know what that is. Mikhail McBride. What's up? What's the Kashyyyk record? I think we need to decry shunning violence. Yes. Is atheist the same with not religious? I don't. No, you can be not religious and still believe in God. Atheism just means you don't believe in God. I'm going to look this up quick. Kashyyyk record. What is the Kashyyyk record? In the religion of South Theosophy and the philosophical school called Anthroposophy, the Akashic records are a compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past. Sounds big. Wow. I have to look more into that. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I'm unclear without getting into it and ignoring you people. I'll have to look into that later, but it sounds like it might be woo of its own. A part of theosophy, I guess, which is another weird religion and just woo. Is it possible to argue with a religious preacher? Yeah, you can argue with him. You probably won't win, or he's not going to admit you won, but it's totally possible. I don't do it very much, because I just find it unsatisfying. Yes, some of the founding fathers were Christians in their personal life. However, they all were what yeah, some of them were mainline Protestants. They weren't evangelicals. They weren't Catholics. More than one or two of them, I suppose. But yeah, they were all. They came from the denominations that sprang from Puritanism and the Church of England as the country was founded. So yeah, some of the founding fathers were Christians, but none of the ones who wrote the documents, the actual founding documents, were Christians. Those guys were deists. They were the smart ones. They had the higher education. They took the steering wheel, and they drove the ship of state early. And they wrote those documents based on Enlightenment values and the teachings of Cicero and Aristotle, not the Bible. John Adams famously, in a letter to Libya, I think, back in the day, assuring Muslim states that the United States of America was not in any way founded on the Christian faith. Historical record. People who try to spin it that way are just trying to spin it that way. They just want us to think that this is a Christian country, when all it is a country full of nutbag Christians. It's a big difference. Well, preacher on the train, I think they just got gone. See ya. I didn't see that. Bye. God, yeah, Gamber, your mom. Thanks for being here, but bye. No preaching on the train. Bible said all humans were from Adam and Eve, then wiped out in the flood, then from Noah and his 6 law. Yeah, but the people who wrote that knew it wasn't literal. That's the killer. The people who wrote those myths knew that it wasn't a literal depiction of events. They were writing metaphors. They were writing allegorical stories to explain God's love in a storytelling way. So people who believe today that shit is a historical depiction of events are stupider than the people who wrote it. The people who didn't know how to wipe their asses right? People who didn't know they knew how to wipe their asses. They didn't, it always kills me. We don't use the medicine of 2,000 years ago. We don't use the architecture. We don't use the transportation systems. We don't use, most of what they thought was chill. But somehow people believe that their philosophy was right on the money. It's just it's embarrassing. Is there an afterlife? Yeah, you're dead. That's after your life. You're dead and you rot and you go back to the stars. Like the physicist said, when you die, you don't really go away. Your atoms become less orderly. Did you know Jesus' grandmother is Saint Anne? If you say that fast, it sounds like Satan. Jesus' grandmother is Saint Anne. Okay, searching. Never heard that. Watch what happens in your existence today. Um, okay. Uh, Kevin Anderson. Are you the actor, Kevin Anderson? I don't know what that means, buddy. Thanks for the likes, woman on a warpath. I want to see her. Who is she? What are you doing? Whose ass you kicking today, woman on a warpath? Yeah, plenty of stuff happens after you die, more probably than happens when you're alive, and you're just not going to be a part of it. Vaccinate religious people with science. Yeah, education, man. Just vaccinate them with education. Just God, get some brains back. When do we get some brains back in the common people? It used to be you read Civil War letters. Go back and like study Civil War letters, the way that people wrote, just common people, not rich kids, just kids who went to war in the Civil War and had to write letters back home. The English that they use, the grammar that they use, the language that they use reflects an intelligence that we have lost. Nobody gets an education like those kids got 150 years ago, 160 years ago now. Um, it's really embarrassing how far we've fallen. How many scientists were excommunicated in the 1400s? The church is powerful then. Now it's losing. Yeah, it is. Sooner or later, it is. The church is going to just decline. People don't want to give their money to pedophilia rings. People don't want to support a fantasy reality. And the more that science learns, the less we need the God of the Gaps. Go to Tumblr and Reddit, and they still write like that. Yeah, some people do. I mean, I pride myself on my writing. I'm a good writer. But I like when I read that stuff. I'm like, wow, oh, these people, like everybody, every person knew how to really write. The actor is my son. Really? You an old guy? Well, you kind of are. Well, that's cool as hell, man. If that's true. Oh yeah, compare those letters to some of the comments you get. Yeah, right. How about it? Uh, I'm scrolling back here to see what I missed. Missed some comments. Thanks for the follow, H boss. Do you think TST is going to win against Texas? I don't know, man. Uh, it's hard. They've stacked the courts so horribly against us. I see where the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, the U.S. Circuit Court again. It's all these federal courts that have been stacked with Christian nationalists and hardcore Catholics who are in line with Christian nationalism. Um, they ruled that the judge in Texas could pray while his case was being appealed. This is a guy in court, a judge who prays in his courtroom, and leads prayer and tries to enforce Christianity in his courtroom. You know what I mean? FFRF sued and they won. And of course, this asshole's appealing because it's so important to him to enforce his personal mythology on the public when he's deciding cases. And he appealed, and the appeal, the circuit court ruled that he could keep on doing it while the appeal was in effect. So, a setback again, but I don't know. I sure as hell hope they do. I don't know what's going to happen other than we wait until um, the self-righteous right-wing boobs on the Supreme Court die, or we stack the court against them and get some balance in there again. I don't mind there being, half and half conservative liberal judges, but the Supreme Court has become a laughing stock, a joke of political partisanship. I don't need a book for God to exist. All right, I don't need God to exist to enjoy the planet. Thanks, man. I don't know what that means. We need to stay. Yeah, we do need to stack the courts. I don't. People are like, no, it's not. It's not unconstitutional. It's not wrong. And it's the only way we're going to fix the judicial system, which is broken beyond, almost beyond repair at this point. Save me from DeSantis, dude is evil as fuck. Yeah. How about Florida, man? Florida. Too bad they're not connected to Texas. We could just build a fucking wall around both of them and let them go be their own country. Why does God need a religion? Why do we need a God? The universe is not proof. Thanks, Cordy. That's a small-minded concept. What happened to the church being separate from state? Yeah, religious nutbags, evangelical voters happened, you know, and politicians pandering to them happened. That's what happened. And the education system in America eroded to the point where, people can think these things, think this is a Christian nation. And then, they all want it so bad they all run out and get out there and vote. So little by little, from the 50s on, communist scare, yada yada, the rise of televangelism, the rise of born againism in America, it all contributed to a crumbling of the wall of separation between church and state. Do you have any spiritual views, or is what we see what we get? Yeah, I mean, what's a spiritual view? I meditate. I see things with wonder. I have a sense of, the universe being greater than me. I have it's all of those things are imagination triggering. So, what does that mean? We all have a spiritual view, and that we all have an imagination. We all have a life that goes on in our minds. We can all imagine certain things. So I gotta guess I gotta say yes, but that's just such a vague term. Spiritual views. I believe most of that stuff is just science we don't understand yet. Someone just asked, do I think TST will succeed in Texas? I have my doubts, honestly, but Um, yeah, I've tripped on mushrooms. I actually prefer acid. The first couple times I did mushrooms, I didn't even get off, but I have had some good trips on mushrooms. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's about as spiritual as anything you could do, right? It lets you open your mind and see things, perceive things in a way that you normally don't. If that doesn't help you broaden your worldview and your universe view, then I don't know what else to do for you. But that's much more useful to me than believing in a sky fairy who created us all and went and then sent down his son, who's actually himself, to die for us. And the ridiculous assertions of Christian dogma. A good acid trip is way more enlightening to me than religion. So why do so many people believe in the Bible? Indoctrination. When your grandma says it's true, and her grandma said it was true, and their grandma said it was true, it's just people are like, they're not smart enough to get over that. Most people just can't even see that. That's all that they're doing is mimicking what they've been taught, and they don't put any critical thought into it. They don't care to. It's comforting to them, and there you go. Hey, Betty Florence, what's up, girl? Religion says a man in the sky did it. You believe that? Yeah, question science. Yeah, question science. Science questions itself. You don't have to be the only one to question science, but you don't. If you're a janitor, you don't question the cosmologist. You're not qualified. Why would you do that? But science is consistently questioning itself. That's the nature of science. That's what people don't get. Science isn't making pronunciations that are etched in stone forever. That's religion. That's what religion does. Despite the evidence that comes along to the contrary, that's what religion is about. So people who are like, "Wow, you have faith in science without even questioning it," no, I have faith that the scientists who apply science question the science consistently and constantly. And people who discover new things or have an idea that they test and it comes up with new evidence, then science changes to adjust to it. So yes, I think science uh, is far more sophisticated than religious philosophy in every way. I heard sin is a metaphor for a sine wave. It's why holy people have halos because they live in sin. Okay. They teach the kids. That's how I got indoctrinated, and they have all that built-in guilt. Yeah, they teach it to kids. They teach horrible things to kids. This fear and punishment of burning forever, and that people, demons are real, and scaring kids awake at night, thinking that the demon is in their room. You have to be just a criminally. It's unconscionable that people do this to their kids, and we were like lucky, right? And we still learned creepy, creepy shit. We learned the prayer. I had to say a prayer every night. My mom made sure we prayed at the side of our bed before we went to bed. Thank you. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Who had to say that when they were kids? I used to lay in bed and go, I might die tonight. Why does a 6-year-old have to deal with that in their minds? And my mom didn't see it as being harmful. She didn't think about it. She didn't question it. That's what they taught her to do. And in her mind, it worked okay for her, and why shouldn't she do it? Hello from Germany. Wie geht's, mein Freund? It's more about the absolute absence of love in eternity. Okay, that's metallic you. Me, did you have to read that poem to say that prayer? Yeah, it's just so. Yes, if I should die, scared the fuck out of me. And a lot of kids don't. You say it until you really think about it later. You might learn it when you're really young and you don't even think about what you're saying. I have a feeling that I said it for a while before I like actually thought about what I was saying. And I asked my mom, like, and she would have a typical, you see the curtain go down across her eyes, and she said, just say it, or just, you're not going to die. Just, in case you do, you want to make sure that God knows you love him and he's going to take you home instead of pushing the trap door on your bed. You go "Phoop," down the fucking, down the pole, down Lil Nas X's pole, straight to the devil. Did Jesus live on earth? Well, he didn't live anywhere else. If he existed, he lived on earth. But I know what you mean. I don't know. I don't know. The jury's out. I don't. There's no evidence at all that he did. But there's an awful lot of early writings referring to him. So we're tempted to believe that he existed in some form, and then most scholars still think that he existed in some form. There's no chance that he existed in the way that you read about it in the Gospels. Jesus lived on Pluto. Yeah, not even a planet. He was relegated to just Pluto, a rogue asteroid, or whatever, the planetoid, or whatever they're calling it now. Religion says that we're worse to people who killed thousands. Says we're worse. I don't know what that means. Atheist in South Dakota, my guy. Uh, what's the cheese, man? Well, Christian scholars have no validity. They're fake scientists. Yeah, there is that. And a lot of these guys are apologists. They're just looking for philosophical excuses, right? They're not really scientists in terms of objectivity. They have an axe to grind. It's confirmation bias. Jackie Burgess says, "I feel sorry for you." It's not that bad being bald, honestly. It's okay, but thank you. Is Mary real? Which Mary? Um, Mother of Jesus or Mary Magdalene? Was she Jesus's wife, or was she a hoe? Worse than people who killed thousands is what I mean. Us as atheists, yeah. I mean, people spin us like we're the devil, or the worst thing that ever happened. But that's just because we threaten their paradigm, and we bring their cognitive bubble into the service, and they think, oh God, there's a guy who's making me think about what I already know deep down, that this is bunk, Uh, the grandmother Mary. Have you seen the coursework from BYU? Good Lord, I don't know how some of those are real degrees. No, I haven't. BYU and the Mormons. The all Mormonians. Yeah, what a bunch of imbeciles. But again, modern Mormons are just indoctrinated to what their parents thought. It's those first Mormons who believed Joseph Smith and his bullshit. The guy was already a con man. And then they're going to believe hey, yeah, everybody gather around. I found one out in the woods and I dug up these golden plates, plates. I used to think that they meant like dinner plates, but, like plates, like a metal plate, like the plate that's in your head, if you're brain damaged. That's what he dug up. He dug up these golden plates that had, God's word on it, in the Book of Mormon or whatever, or however it worked out. And it like got, he got his own council of assholes, right? 12 or 13 people to corroborate the story. But then he said that God told him he had to bury him, so he couldn't like put him on display down at the church. He couldn't put him in a museum. He couldn't bring him around with him. And people believe this shit. When you can get people to believe that kind of shit, you are a talented con man. And look what he built out of it. A church with $4 billion in the fucking basement of the tabernacle that they don't have to pay taxes on. I like the theory Christianity was based on a mushroom cult. Amanita muscaria. Is that the mushroom? That's nice, man. Makes more sense. You might be able to see that shit if you do mushrooms. Christians use God to feel superior to other people. That's why it goes well with racism. Yeah, it's Christians do have a superiority complex, and it's manifest destiny, right? So look where we've gotten. Christianity is the biggest religion on the planet, and every time we go to take over a country through war, we win. Every time we go to assimilate a native culture to Christianity, it works. So God must be on our side, right? It's manifest destiny. It's our right to do it, and when we do it and succeed, it's proof that we were right. It's this circular logic of bullshit that lets people abuse the less powerful. Uh, so yeah, I've been getting so many Christian live streams on my FYP, bro. It was driving me insane. TikTok biased? Yeah, I think probably that's true. A lot of people say that, and I think there's just a lot of Christians who do live streams. Uh, uh, I can't really speak to the algorithm or how they pick what goes on your FYP. I know that I don't watch my FYP a lot because I don't find a lot on there that's really great. I don't watch a lot of TikTok because I don't have time. But when I do, it like puts it on your FYP, open it up, and it's on your FYP, right? You have to hit following if you want to watch your followers. So I try to like spend a little bit of time keeping up with my followers and the people that I follow, the other great atheist TikTokers out there, and see what they're up to. But I don't, the FYP, like it generally churns up shit. I'd rather go dig in the bottom of a fucking mud puddle or a pond full of scum because you're going to get more interesting content than what comes up generally on my FYP. So if it's that bad for you, then just stay off it. Seek out the content you like and follow those people, and don't even go to your FYP, but once in a while, I would say, because I notice the same thing. If I do, or if I scroll through the lives, it's like every third one is some Christian reading the Bible or somebody. Some lady was just reading the Bible and not even reading it well. I'm like, man, I could do that. And probably get a lot more friggin' for a lot more views too. Um, Got about 15 more minutes before I jump off, so hit me with those questions and comments. I'm praying to you right now. Can you hear me? No, but if you send me an email with your desires, I'll try my best to fulfill them for you. Thanks. Mopot22. You like smoking Mopot? I'm a sucker for the pups. That's my FYP. For puppies, for dogs. Yeah, I got an awesome dog right here at my feet. Utah Atheist. What's up? That's got to be tough. Excuse me. I tease. Thanks for the follow. Who do you tease? I got a Christian saying there is scientific proof for Jesus. I didn't even enter the live stream. Yeah, just stay away from that shit. Those people are so dumb. I mean, when they start needing to try to prove it through science, you know that their faith is weak because they know inherently that their faith isn't enough. It's not even enough for them. So they have to go and like try to find proof. And it's silliness. Whenever they do, I see those things once in a while, and it's laughable. There's obviously if there was any scientific proof for Jesus, we'd have scientific papers and evidence, and people, many more people would believe, including a lot of atheists, right? But the fact is that there's not, and there's no scientists pursuing that because it's bullshit. Bye, Isaiah. No preaching on the train. Thanks, man. Uncalled praying is hate speech. Just saying. uh, my FYP turned into all feet. What's that mean, dude? You like feet? I like to watch the Christian Exorcists. Are there Christian Exorcists on the live feed or on your FYP? That's crazy. Started watching that show Evil. Have you seen that show Evil? And somebody asked me if I watched the series finale of Lucifer. I didn't know the series was ending. I've never watched one episode. Maybe I'll get around to it. I'm watching right now. Only Murders in the House. Only Murders in the house in the building. Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. Great choice for her. I really admire her stepping outside the box and working with those two old geezers because Steve Martin still got great ideas, and this is a good show. It's only 5 or 6 episodes, I think, in the season. Coming to an end pretty soon. Maybe Wednesday comes out on Hulu. Fucking Hulu. Why can't you just let it out so we can binge, right? What's with the once a week shit like the networks? But this show is good, man. It's really good. And finally got turned on to the Spanish show about the heist, the money heist, they call it in English. It's called House of Paper or House of Cards, maybe you would translate that to. And about the heist at the mint in Madrid, and it's really, really good. Uh, and it's nice to watch it in Spanish. It comes up on dubbed. You know what I mean? Who can watch dubbed TV or movies? I can't. It's painful to me, and not because I speak Spanish. I still need the subtitles because it's from Spain. It's not. I learned Mexican Spanish, and it goes fast, and I still read the subtitles, but I can understand 90% of what I hear anyway. So yeah, maybe it's easier for me, but I don't care if it's Chinese or Arabic or Indian or Indian Hindu, Hindi or Vietnamese or whatever it is. Watch it in the native language and read the subtitles. You'll get a much more satisfying experience. But that show is fucking good. It's really good. Everything in life happens by randomness. Cause and effect, my friend. Did Jesus even existed? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, Casa de Papel. Uh, yeah, that's what it's called in Spain, but they call it money heist here, which is weird. But I hate it when they do that. And part of the cool thing about speaking Spanish is you see how the translations are changed, right? They'll make mistakes and they'll translate things, and you're like, why? If somebody says fantástico in Spanish, what do you think that translates to in English? The word fantástico. Is that a hard one to figure out? But you're reading the subtitles and it translates it as wonderful. Who the fuck is in charge of this shit? You know? But you see, when you know the language, you see a lot of other nuances that you know that the translators who do the subtitles are taking shortcuts or not really giving you the real sense of it. Some of that stuff is funny and it pays to understand the native language there. But um, no higher power exists. No, in terms of like a deity, no. I mean, there's a higher power. If an asteroid hits us and kills us all, that could be described as a higher power. But no, there's no singular intelligence that's smarter than all of us that created the Earth. It's just a fantasy. It's a childish fantasy, an infantile fantasy. You are so awesome, my brother. Love your channel. Thanks, man. I love you, Mopat. Thanks for being here. Um, awesome show so far. Yeah, it's going nice today. Thanks, appreciate it. You mean Money Heist? I know it is really good. It's a good show. Uh, I hate dubbed, but I use subtitles when faced with strong accents. Yeah, it's tough, right? Especially if you're a native Spanish speaker and English is your second language, then it is tough. You listen to like Scottish and you're like, what the fuck? It's hard for us sometimes, but it's no different, right? You speak Spanish and that's your first language. You can understand someone from Puerto Rico or someone from Cuba or someone from, Argentina. Whereas me, I learned a good, clear Castellano de mis amigos mexicanos. And if I hear un boricua hablando bien recio, y hablando así, gargalando, with a different idiom and words that we don't use, right? Then I get lost. So it's no different when you're listening to English. You hear an English accent that's very strong, or somebody from an English-speaking country in Africa, say Nigerian with an accent. It's tough. I know that's hard if you're not hearing it in the accent that you learned it. I love it. I love language. I love it so much. So praying is useless. It's not if it makes you feel good, it's not useless to you, but it's useless as far as creating change. Yes, it's as useless tits on a bull, as my grandpa used to say. As useless as anything that could possibly be out there. If God exists and He has an all-knowing plan and He has an undiscernible plan to us, He's got an agenda out there. Why would He change it for you? If He wants your wife to die on her way home from work, then why would He change it for you because you prayed that she makes it home safe? It doesn't make any sense at all. And that's just assuming God exists, which of course He doesn't, and there's no evidence that He does or she. So we may as well treat it like they don't. So why would you pray? You pray to activate the endorphins in your mind, the chemicals that make you feel better, like an autistic person who rocks themselves because it calms them down. That's what prayer does. That's what meditation does. And there's nothing wrong with that. I meditate all the time and it works, but to pray, it's just an exercise for you, for your comfort, and it makes you feel like you did something too. If you're one of these asshole Christians who wants to help a situation, right? I'll pray for them. Let's just pray really hard that abortion goes away. Let's pray. Remember, atheists pray away atheist day. If it's God's will that some of us aren't going to believe and we're never going to come over, why would you pray? It's absurd to think that God would change His inscrutable plan for you because you decided to pray about something. That just means that God's not doesn't have a plan, doesn't know what He's doing. You know what? You know what? This guy prayed. I'm gonna go ahead and take away his little baby's terminal disease because I had a plan, but I'm gonna change it because this asshole asked. What's wrong with you? One thing that is dubbed properly are children cartoon movies. Shrek is just as fun in English and Spanish. Is that right? I do like spicy food. I love spicy food. I make Thai curries all the time, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. I make Thai curries, and the hotter the better. I freaking love it, and I sweat too. I got no hair to hold the sweat back, so I'll be like eating like taco sauce that's really hot or spicy. I love a good spicy taco sauce. And man, it's embarrassing. I just like sweat down my face, like in gushes, and I don't care. I love it. Had a mentor, beautiful Lang. What? Oh, beautiful language. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I introduced my Spanish girlfriend to my Irish mom. Both had strong accents. Yeah, that had to be fun, right? Portuguese? Is that how we spell Portuguese, Serge? uh, it's similar to Mexican Spanish. But yeah, I don't meet a lot of Portuguese people, so Portuguese is my weakest Romance language, but I can understand French and Italian because of the Spanish. Hazmat, thanks for the rose. Gods definitely doesn't exist. Well, um, they most certainly, it's not likely that they exist. Uh, none of us can really say definitely, but we can proceed as though they definitely don't exist because they obviously don't interact with us. Spicy equals toilet and burn. I'm here for it. Woo! Audie May. All right. That's awesome. Thai curry better than Indian curry? No. No, I don't think so. I love Indian curry. Um, but yeah, it's close there. Indian food is one of my favorite things to eat. I love it all. Portuguese is kind of old Spanish, but if I'm talking to a bilingual person, it will be in English. Yes, Portuguese actually, a linguist told me that Portuguese is actually more related to French because Portugal was founded by a Burgundian knight. So, I don't know either language well enough to say if that's true, but it seems more like Spanish to us, but grammatically, it's actually closer to French, apparently. Dude, I had a burrito with a very hot tomatillo sauce yesterday. Stomach still hates me. Worth it. Yeah, you put up with the ibs, right, my friend? I know, I know. Believe me, I'm an old man. I know. Hi from Oklahoma, Wolfpack. Wolfpack Pride 50. When you let out the spicy curry on the bowl, do you believe in God then? Oh God. It doesn't affect me that way. It doesn't come out spicy. It'll make me go more a little bit, I guess, but it doesn't actually come out spicy. I don't have that issue. All three languages are Romance. Yeah, the Romance languages there's five at least, if you don't count the Spanish dialects, which there's Valenciano and Catalan, Gitane, and the other ones. But yeah, people forget Romanian is based in Latin too. It's talking about the languages that came from Latin as the Roman Empire dissolved and the people settled in different parts of the world over the last 500-600 years. These languages have evolved into French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. Like spicy if it comes out hot. I limit it. I don't know. I've just never had that where like goes in hot, it comes out hot. That's woo, too much information, everybody. Right here, we're talking about poopy time, poopy curries. There could be a god, but it definitely isn't good and all knowing and wise. And that's not a god. Then what is it? A terraforming alien and an asshole? That's not a god. It doesn't deserve worship. I don't know why you'd call anything like that a god. Romanian language closest to Latin besides Italian. I can believe that. They're more removed, right? Um, have you tried the new one chip challenge? No, never heard of that. Hello from San Diego. What's up in sunny San Diego? What's up, Joe Pesci? What's Joe Pesci? Tell me, my friend. Tell me about Joe Pesci, would you? So there is no divine creator? No, not as far as we know. Not as far as the evidence leads us to exist. You're stuck on this, Stephen. Is it hard for you to get that? Um, clearly, there's no divine creator. Can we talk about anything other than God for 5 minutes? I feel like we do. Like, we're talking about curry and hot shits, right? What else do you want to talk about? Bring something up. If you want me to rant, you got to bring it up. But we're about done anyway. It's 12:27. I'm gonna blast off in a couple of more minutes. The new podcast is out. Make sure you watch it or listen to it. If you like the Big Bang and you're interested in science, or you talk to an actual or listen to an actual astronomer, get totally geeked about what she knows. That's right, a woman in science, and we love her for it. About what she knows about the Big Bang. Uh, Honestly, seeing religious people die from COVID, but the church is saying vaccine equals Satan. I don't know what that means. Religious people dying from COVID because they won't take the vaccine, and as we see, that's what's happening. The unvaccinated people are the ones who are getting it. So, let them fucking weed themselves out. Honestly, and it's getting old. It's getting to be an old topic for me. Do I have a PS5? You know what? We bought one for my son, so it's not with me. But I guess yeah, you could say that when I'm visiting Him. I had PS5's nice machine. Weird looking. Why did they just choose that design? Bizarre. I did the Pocky one chip challenge, one chip language, and although I passed it the next day, I still had upset stomach. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look at that one chip challenge. Not true about the vaccine, according to all reports. Not sure what that's referring to. I respect individual beliefs. You're a Taoist. Nice. My favorite philosophy. Yes, I have. I've read the Tao Te Ching. And that's kind of, those philosophies make so much more sense, don't they, than Western religions? Really, Buddhism, Taoism. It's a good read. If you haven't read the Tao Te Ching, it's only like that. It's very thin. And it's like reading Proverbs, but more smart and more commonsensical. Yeah, I just saw another post of a local pastor die young guys with kids, but they refuse vaccines. Yeah, and the Pastor Greg, what's his name? It's always on my Twitter feed. That just Greg Lockwood or I forget. He's an asshole, Trumpy fuck. He's like, the vaccine is an unproven, untested. All yeah. I was thinking to myself, if he just replaced the word vaccine with the word Jesus or the word religion, then his rant would make sense. Yeah, Greg Lock, piece of fucking shit. Uh, send me the one chips challenge, you guys. If you need to send me anything, it's atheist underground show at gmail.com. Atheist underground show, one word, no underscores, no periods, at gmail.com. And I will answer it if you send me an email. It's an easy way to get me stuff that's bigger than is going to fit on here, or if I miss it when it goes by and you need to reach me. You can all do that. I love you all so much and I appreciate you for being here. Do I think the Republican Party could be considered a branch of Christianity? It's getting to be like that, isn't it? And I think that'll be the death of them, honestly. They can't put all their eggs in that basket. It's dying. The demographic is going down. Atheism and non-religious are on the rise. Evangelicals are on the decline. So the more that they do that, the less relevant they're going to be. And it might take a little time, but they need to reform now. You are an on-time arrival. Later, you all. Thanks, my friend. We do try to keep this train running on time. And yes, they do. It all seems like all the indigenous Celts, Asians are all connected at some point. Not sure what that refers to. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at El Robinero. That's El Rob Robanero, like habanero, but with a Rob, because my name's Rob and I like hot foods and I like Mexican food and I speak Spanish. So somebody made that up. El Robinero. At on Twitter, it's at El Robinero or Atheist Underground, and or on Twitter, and we're on Facebook too. Where Nikolai Science, he's here. If you haven't followed Nikolai Science on TikTok, do that. He posts a lot of great videos from experts, people like Sam Harris, people like Dawkins, people like scientists, who explain a lot of the questions that we really can't answer here because we're not experts. But we like to believe the experts in their field. Follow him, and yeah, Shri Kugwe still live, but we're getting off. It's 12:31, and thank you all for joining. And what else do I want to plug? Oh, the cafepress.com. You can get the t-shirt, and we're adding more thanks to Heather, who I didn't see you today. There's Heather not on here today. But we're gonna have some more merchandise available at cafepress.com, Atheist Underground Gear, /Atheist Underground Gear. You can get cool stuff there. So follow us on all your favorite social media. And if I don't see you before Wednesday, I will see you Wednesday at 8 p.m. like usual. Love you all so much. I would climb through the camera lens and make love to every one of you if I could. And sorry about there's probably some people on YouTube. And goodbye on YouTube too. I turned off the screen so I didn't see that a couple of people. Yeah, you're right, JG. Sorry about that, buddy. But there's just like 1,000 followers on Twitter or on TikTok. So take it easy, everybody. Sorry, Jay. Yeah, if you're still there, now everybody's gone. But you're right.